this is a question I usually ask everybody that comes in here, and I'm super curious about your answer. How did you find out that the FGC was a thing? Like, how did you know that like you have a local you can go to? How did that discovery happen?
So for me, I used to be in a place 3 hours away from Chicago, actually, and we had a very, very small scene. Like we had Aladdin's Arcade and stuff like that. I'm old as hell. If y'all don't know, I'm 35 years old. I'm a little bit ancient. So there used to be a place called Aladdin's Arcade, and we used to play there. Like we'd have like 20 people or so, plus my friends of my age and some people that are older. In a very small town, and I would go online a lot and talk on IRC forums and stuff like that, Shoryuken, Game FAQs, Game Winners, all that garbage and stuff like that. But I didn't know there was like an overarching FGC besides like what was online until I went to Chicago. So I moved to Chicago. And that was about, I didn't do the math here, 14 years ago. And I started going to like Kevin Fair's like monthlies and stuff like that, Gaming Under the Influence, just these wild FGC tournaments. And I started learning that there was, thankfully, an offline community of people that actually play the game and just want to chill and hang out and socialize. And then I finally found out that there was Ignite Gaming Lounge that was centered in Chicago that was a weekly, and I was like, I'll go to this. It took me a little bit. Even though I'm an extrovert, it took me a little bit to be like, okay, let me go to these weekly events, because for everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, you might feel uncomfortable. You don't know everybody there, and you might look like a fool losing. Let me tell you all that it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. They just want to help you in most places. But eventually, like after a couple months, I was like, let me do this. So I went over to Ignite around the early days of Street Fighter V and just went every single damn week that I could, not only for commentary, but just to play and hang out. And right after work, I'd get off the bus and take another bus, and then go all the way over to Ignite. And that's how it really got going. In fact, I didn't even travel until 2017 or 18. My first tournament was SCR, actually. Yeah, 17. So it's SCR. That was my very first like big major tournament outside of Illinois.
Gotcha. Dude, that's so interesting because and I love asking this question because that's like something that I think a lot of people are having trouble with now, right? Like finding their local scene. But for me, things wound up happening completely the opposite, where my first like I had never been to a weekly, right? Because I grew up in an area where weeklies didn't exist. I tried to search for it, like never got it. But my first FGC experience was Winter Brawl 8 in like 2013. So my first ever like actual tournament was a major in Philly. So, and if it wasn't for like meeting Spooky and like talking to Spooky and talking to Big E, like it was so overwhelming. And if it wasn't for those two, like that would have, like things would have been very different, I think.
Right. That's sick.